Hello, 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 everyone. This is Michelle Mickey Jones, and I am a social worker, a writer, a published author, a columnist, a poet, and I am here to help you to get in touch and in tune and develop and implement skills and techniques that help you to be a better writer. Why? Because you are a writer. And it is always important and it is always edifying for you to be able to tell your story in a very impactful way. So we help you to get in touch and in tune with those things, those issues, those people, those places that have always held your voice back. We want you to speak freely. So that's what we do. That's who I am. If you are new to following me, I say welcome to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And make sure that you like Michelle's Visual Imaginations as a page and that you tap the notifications button so that you'll be notified when we go live or when we post important news and messages inside of this page. If you have been following me for a while, I say thank you. I appreciate it. So make sure that if I say something that's catchy and snappy or you think might benefit someone else, you hit that little share button. It's right there. Okay, depending on which phone you have, hit that share button and share this broadcast out and let others in on the great big secret that you've been keeping, which is me. So, what we have been talking about this week, the technical aspects of writing. And we've been talking about the 4 styles of writing: expository, descriptive, persuasive, and today we will be discussing narrative. Now, as a writer, at any given point in time in your writing, even in your speech, you wind up using at least 2 different styles of writing. Like right now, I'm telling you a story. That's narrative. But if I get very descriptive in that story, of course that's descriptive because I'm giving you details. But if I give you factual details and give you statistics, then I'm being expository because I'm explaining to you and I'm going to give you a how-to on factual ways to do something. Simple enough, right? And if I am using a persuasive method of writing, like I did, or speaking, in the top of this video, I hopefully smiled enough and had enough inflection in my voice when I say hit the little share button. I persuaded you to do just that. So, today what we are talking about is narrative writing. It is one of the most common styles of writing. Why? Because everybody tells a story. Whether it's an autobiography, whether it's a biography, whether it is a short story, or whether it is a long novel. We tell a story. We are very narrative. We give a projected history into the present moment of a story. So when we do an autobiography, we're basically talking about ourselves, our life, our history, and how we got from point A to point B. So we give you the definitive, descriptive narrative of our life. If we are writing a novel, we tell you a story. Now, that novel can be about fantasy, it can be about romance, it can be about astrology, it could be about anything that you want it to be about, but you are narrating, you are telling a story. Most narrative writing is written, unless it's your autobiography, it's written in first person perfect, which means you start out telling, this is a story about such and such and such. And you begin to tell that story as if you are in that moment. Even though you may be talking about the past or you may be talking about the future, you write a narrative in a present tense. All right? For example, once upon a time, there was this beautiful princess that lived in the forest with 7 dwarves. Right? So automatically I did 2 things. I began to tell you a story and I described the area and the atmosphere of the story. So as I was telling you the story, you got a sense of where the story unfolds, how the story unfolds, how many people there are so far in the story, and you got a image of what I was saying. So when we talk about narrative writing also involves descriptive writing. Now, this is the one genre of writing that basically transposes two definite styles of writing. It's poetry. Poetry is both narrative and descriptive. I've never seen poetry on a how-to level, so I've never seen it expository. But I have seen it very persuasive. And when I say persuasive, it means that the poet is writing in such a way that you don't even recognize that you're being persuaded to do something. So if you're, for lack of a better example, erotica, if you're not an erotic person, if you're not into erotica and you read an erotic poem, it will influence you to do or commit an action after you've read the poetry. So it's done two things. It has been descriptive to you and it has been narrative. But if you act on the action that was invoked by the poetry, it's now done three things because it persuaded you to do something. It persuaded you to action. So when we talk about the four styles of writing, expository, descriptive, persuasive, and today we are talking about narrative. All writing fits into one or more of those categories. You as a writer have the option of intertwining or writing solo in any area. So if you are strictly a romance writer, more than likely you will use three styles of writing. You will use, of course, the descriptive, you will use the narrative, and at various points in your romance novel, you will use the persuasive. Not much, but a good writer learns to weave it in. So you want to invoke them to want to read the next addition to your novel. So if you're writing a series, you will always leave them wanting more. So you'll be persuasive somewhere towards the end of your novel. Read in the next novel, you'll see, or somehow you will inflect that the story continues. Okay? So when we are talking about being a narrative writer, it is a conscious choice because you want to tell a story. Now, what story you choose to tell is completely up to you. Like I said, it can be an autobiography, which is completely about you, or it can be a biography, which is about someone else. It can be a novel, or it can be a short story, but it can also be poetic and poetry. So, yesterday we talked about being persuasive. Today we talk about being narrative. So, are you good at telling a story? And does your story invoke an action? Do your words reflect the emotion that is necessary for your story to be remembered? Everybody knows, if you've ever heard a fairy tale, they all start with once upon a time. You automatically know, without even thinking of it consciously, that this fairy tale is getting ready to be fantastic. Story you telling fantastic? I hope it is. This is Michelle Mickey Jones. I am a social worker, a published writer, an author, #1 best-selling author, and a columnist. And I am here to help you get in touch and in tune and develop and implement skills and techniques that help you to be a better writer. Have a great day.